Hey art nerds! So in the past I've shown you guys how to draw a water lily, a tulip, and a wild rose. Today I'm going to show you guys how to draw a domesticated rose. This is the rose reference we're going to be using, and I'll pop a link down in the description below to the original source. The materials for this tutorial are simple. We're using a mechanical pencil on Canson XL watercolor paper. I'm going to start by drawing a circle, and I apply a crosshair. That's a line going vertically and horizontally across the circle. This is going to help me determine the center of the rose. And as I mentioned, I'm working really closely with the reference image. So now I'm drawing a smaller circle. That's going to denote where the petals are really tightly clustered and form a conical shape. And I'm going to work on sketching in some of the petals that overlap the center of the rose first. And I'm already sketching in kind of scallop shapes. So we have a curve, and then on the outside of the curve, we have kind of like a cloud or a scallop-like shape. Now that I've drawn those surrounding petals, I'm going to start sketching in the center of the rose. Now, this is a really tricky part, but you guys might notice that these petals all furl around a center point, a little bit like a sea snail shell. Whew! Try saying that one 3 times fast. I tried to say snail. And inside we have smaller spiraling shapes. Now the thing about drawing flowers is the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. So be patient with yourself and give yourself lots of time to practice. Now that I have the center spiral of our rose drawn, I'm going to start drawing some of the exterior petals spiraling out from the exterior of the rose. These are a little bit more detailed than some of the petals I've sketched in some of our prior tutorials. They're a little bit tighter, but I'm going to tighten them up even more still. Since the rose petals have so much going on and there's so many of them, it's helpful for me to draw them in a little bit tighter than I normally would. So now we have our base sketch of a rose finished. Now I'm going to ink our sketch with a Pigma FB brush pen. I'm using this because I want to watercolor these later on in a new series, so I hope you guys will keep an eye out for that as well. As I'm inking, I'm trying to add more detail as I go, still closely referencing our rose reference. I also want to point out that this video has been time-lapsed by about 2, so I do not draw or ink this fast. And it's okay if it takes you longer to do this. I have drawn a lot of flowers in my life, so I've gotten pretty quick at it. But as you're learning a new skill, as you're trying out something new, it's important to be patient with yourself. So I drew our overlapping petal, and now I'm working on the interior of the rose, that interior spiral. Once I have the interior finished, I'm going to start working on the overlapping exterior petals as they furl outward. So we're going from the center outward. So we're doing areas that are overlapped to areas that are overlapping. By applying some pressure to my brush pen, I can get these really nice line weight variations, which add a lot of visual information. If you guys are looking for tutorials on how to ink, particularly how to ink with a brush pen, I've got you covered here on this channel in my Advanced Inking Techniques playlist and in my brush pen inking playlist. So once I have some of the basic petals inked in, I'm going in and adding a few striations. Not as many as you guys see in the wild rose illustration next to this one, but enough that you can understand the form of the petals. For me, drawing flowers is a really relaxing way to spend time. I really love drawing and painting flowers, but it doesn't have to be flowers. Anything that brings you peace, that helps you feel relaxed, or helps you feel grounded in the moment, those are all great things to practice drawing. It could be vehicles, it could be houses, it could be insects or animals. It doesn't really matter what you're drawing, so long as you're putting that time in to learn how to draw it. So as you guys can see, we started from the interior, we worked our way in a spiral to the exterior petals. Comparatively, roses are fairly easy to draw because once you have a rhythm down for your petals, it's mostly just repetition of that rhythm. The hardest part to me is the center of the rose. And that is our finished domesticated rose. I hope you guys found this tutorial to be helpful, useful, and informative. If you guys like my art, please check me out on Instagram at instagram.com/natosoup. And if you want to help support more tutorials like this one, you can join me over on Patreon at patreon.com/natosoup. Tomorrow, I'll show you guys how to draw a hyacinth. Bye!